So good day and welcome guys to this tutorial. This is going to be structured programming with Vicol, or structured programming with C. So in this tutorial, I've made up a list of all of the schedule for this particular tutorial, and we are not going to do it's not going to take much of our time. We're just going to go over about 9 different lectures. The first and the second being the most basic ones, and then the third to the ninth being the actual what you want to learn actually. Do you understand? For the purpose of this video, I will just combine the first and the second one on this list, so we can just proceed to 3, then 4, then 5 in other future videos. All right. So first of all, in the first video, I said it's a welcome to the class episode, right? Who am I? I am Vicol Olawade by name. I'm a software developer with over 4 years of experience in the field. I started doing programming professionally somewhere around 2019. So this tutorial, I'm personally, making it so that I can give people this privilege to learn what they would not be able to learn in school. And why I'm saying this is because, come to think of it, you really cannot learn this thing I'm about teaching you in school. And I'm not saying because your school is not good, or probably because you don't have the best teachers, or because your school does not have enough resources. No, not all of that. Come to think of it, in a session or in a semester, let's say semester now, where you're going to learn structured programming, right? And the semester runs for, in Nigeria, an average of about 5 to 6 months. Now, out of a 5 month lecture, let's say you have the class about twice a week, right? And in a month you have 4 weeks. Then in 5 months you're going to be taking 20 weeks, right? So if you have that class for like 2 times in 20 weeks, that means you only have to get the lectures just 40 times, like 40 times. And those 40 times are basically just maybe going to be an hour or 2 hours class. And that is even if your school can actually go like as far as taking it for 6 months or 5 months. Most schools 3 months, and then they're already doing revisions and they're already on break. So yeah, in this series of episodes, which I am propagating, is going to take about 2 to 3 weeks. You're going to learn everything you need to know about structured programming, right? I'm going to open your initiatives and allow you to understand what structured programming is all about. And structured programming basically is like what most people use to kickstart their programming knowledge, because there are other type of programming paradigm just like OOP, but structured programming will allow you to understand and know the real basics behind every other paradigm in programming. Yeah, that's what you're going to learn. And the mode of this tutorial, so I've showed you the schedule for the tutorial. So we're going to first cover up all of the basics we will actually need before we now dive into starting to do exercises from questions by different schools, most likely Osho State University, because that is the number one school I'm making this video for, right? Now on the why this tutorial, yeah, like I explained already, you necessarily will not understand this thing if you are meant to just follow what you're going to be taught in school, because number one, you will not be alone in school to learn, and we are humans, we have different mode of learning. Someone like me, I can be comfortable learning in a quiet place. Sorry, I can be comfortable learning in a noisy environment, right? But then there might be some other kind of people that don't like, they can't assimilate when it's a noisy environment. So imagine for the rest of your classes from January now to probably February or March, when your exam is going to be. Imagine all of your classes are going to be done in a noisy environment. Then it means you can't grasp. But with this tutorial in place, and it's going to be available for free on YouTube, you can always download it. And if you're a kind of person that reads in midnight, you can always download and watch in the middle of the night and practice to learn how to code by yourself, to understand all of the concepts I'm going to be teaching. All right. And if you're somebody that can also grasp in noisy environment, this tutorial is just going to make you have this mobility and portability. You have this knowledge that you can always access anytime and any day you want. So even if it's midnight, if it's in the morning, if it's in the afternoon, even few days to your exam, you can always come back to this tutorial and go through it, so you can revise and refresh your memory from what you don't know. If there's be a physical class, after that particular day of lecture, you can only remember about 80 to 85% of what has been taught. And day after day after day after day, prior to that particular day when you were taught, you keep losing necessary information, and then you can't assimilate properly. But with this, if you learn something today and you know 100% of it, if after 2 weeks you forget it, you can always come back to the video to learn and grasp all of the 100% things you knew before. So without talking too much, let's dive into the video and let me show you exactly how to set up the environment we're going to be using. So for this tutorial, we're going to be using code blocks. Alright, so we're going to be using code blocks to write our C program. You can actually use different other softwares, but the one my school recommends, or the one we are used to, is code blocks. So I'm going to be teaching you how to install code blocks on your PC. Right, so just come to your Google search and search code blocks download. All right, and yeah, see this first link opens. You click on it, downloads. So now this particular method is going to be for people that are using Android. A Windows PC. All right, if you're using a Windows PC, follow this process. For Mac users, I would employ us to actually use the other alternatives I'll be talking about later in the later part of this video, because I currently do have access to a MacBook and I don't just know how to explain properly how to go through installing code blocks or writing a C program on your MacBook. Right, so for Windows users, I'm currently on a Windows PC and I'm going to be using a Windows PC throughout to the end of this course. And for Mac users, if you do already have a platform or an environment where you can write code like C, then you would see an alternative towards the end of this tutorial, which is going to be the one on the web. Alright, and you can also do these things too on your phone, just in case you do have access to a laptop, or probably probably you're in school and you didn't take a laptop with you and you need to like practice what you've learned, right? So you can also download some kind of apps that can allow you to run C program on your phone, be it iOS or Android, right? So let's get into it. So now for Windows PC users, once you click on this page, just scroll down and click on download the binary release. Download the binary release. And then you're going to see all of this setup right here. So you see all of this setup right here for Windows, and if you're on a Linux, you come down here to download. You have to download this. Yeah. So for Windows, what we want to do is, as you can see, we have code blocks 20.03. All of the available ones to download our code blocks version 20.03. So you now select, if your system is 32 bits, you select this one. If it's just a 64 bits, like most people's laptop, you can just select anyone. So what I want you to notice is, you see there are like 3 to 5 types of file here. You have the code block setup.exe, the setup non-admin.exe, there's no setup.zip, there's code blocks 20.03 mingw setup.exe. So this one that has the mingw setup is the one I wanted to download. Now there's an explanation towards it, to like my reason telling you to download that. I'm going to explain it, but then you might not really understand, but just do that. Why? If you don't download the mingw setup attached to your code block program, then you need to like download two separate files. First, have to download the code block file, and then the code block file also need it as a requirement. So then you have to go back to like download the mingw setup. So it's like kind of stressful. So just download this one that comes with the code blocks and then the mingw, which is like a compiler. So just click on it. Click on either of this link, the first up or the source4.net. But I most times use the source4.net. So once you click on it, your downloads should start. As you can see here, your download will start shortly. But I already have code blocks already installed, so as soon as you start to download, I'll terminate it. Alright, so you don't waste much time. You see it's downloading already, and I will just lock this and stop from downloading. But mind you, please download the one with the mingw setup, so you will not run into an error from the very start of installing the program on your PC. So I'll bring up the location where I have my own downloaded. As you can see here, I have mine installed, code blocks 20.0.3. I downloaded it sometimes in 2022. Turns out that that's still the latest one on available for download. So I just want to try to run the installation program now. So what you need to do is click yes. And yes, it said welcome to CodeBlocks. Just click next, agree, then next, and then install. But I already have CodeBlocks installed, so I'm not going to be following this process. So just click on install. In a matter of 1, 2, 3 minutes, it's going to get installed, and then you click on finish, and you now launch your CodeBlocks program. So that's what I'm just going to jump into right now. So let me close this page. Okay, no, I can just leave it. Let me just open CodeBlocks. Okay, so this is how my CodeBlocks app looks like, and as you can see, it has some things called recent projects, which was a time I was teaching, structured programming with C to some other set of students. But yours is not going to have a recent project because you're just installing it for the very first time, except if you've been working on it previously. So now to create a new project in to create a new project in CodeBlocks, you just need to click on create a new project, and then it's going to ask you what type of a project you want to do. Because we're going to be writing C program, we're going to click on console application here, and then next, and we select C. As you can see, I want to write C program. I'm not writing C++. Right, then you click on next, and then the first one is the project title. Let me say lecture 1, and then the second place is where you select the folder which you want to store your file in. So I'm just going to locate my own folder here. I have structured programming Vicol 2024 and select. So my files are going to be stored here, which I can always access whenever I want. And then resulting file name, we don't need to worry about this one. It's just the folders we are saving it slash the name of the file, which is lecture1.cbp code block project cbp code blocks project. So click on next, and then click on finish, and now your program is building. And as you can see, so our left hand side we have a place like workspace, then lecture 1 is the code block projects, and then there's a folder called sources where your actual file is going to be stored, and then you see a file called main.c. So double click on main.c, and then you have a template of a C program loaded up for you. Now why I like creating C programs like this is just because of it loads this template for me. Now another way you can also start or create a new C program file is by clicking on file, and then you can click on new, and you can click on empty file. But all you just need to do is just towards yes, let me save it. All you need to just do is towards save it as what the name of your file. Let's say lecture1.c, and then you click on save, and it's going to load up what you have just saved. Okay, and yeah, so as you can see in our sources folder for lecture 1, because when I was saving that file, I still left my file to store in the lecture 1 folder. Alright, so I have now main.c, which is this, and then lecture1.c, which is this. Sorry, yeah, main.c and lecture1.c, as you can see. So let me just cancel this lecture1.c, almost likely even delete it. But you can also create projects like that. So now inside of this main.c is your introduction to what a C program is, or what a C program can do, and we're going to be explaining all of this in another part of the video, right, in lecture 2, starting from lecture 2. But now let me walk you through all of this, the environment of CodeBlocks, so you are familiar with it. So for here, like I said, you can create a new project from here, or you can open an existing project. So probably you have lecture 3 already, and you want to do something lecture 3. What you just need to do is in this pop-up window, just locate the folder where your file is, and structured programming with Vicol, and then click on the folder and then open the file. Let me open this lecture 1, which you just closed recently, and as you can see, it's opened right here, right? So now you have under file, you have new, create a new file, open, import projects. We really don't need that one, or you save file as. For now we're only writing C, so you don't need to save the file in another format. So that's basically what you need to know there. For your edits, as when it comes to undoing, redoing, which you can also use your keyboard shortcut. If you do Ctrl Z, it will take you one step back to your last save change. Sorry, your last saved progress. Let me put it that way. And then if you do Control Y, it will redo what you undid, something like that. And then yeah, that's basically what you need to know here. Most of all of these things are going to be taught later in the course of the lecture. View. This way you can just edit how your whole environment looks like. All right. Yeah, how your whole environment looks like, and you also don't need to do any much thing here. What you just basically need to do is understand file, how to create a new file, how to open a file, and then there's a way to build and run your project, which is under this build. All right, this under this build. So to build your project, it means you want to build your project, but you're not running it. Now, build and run are two different things. You can build a project and not run it, and you can run a project, but you can't run a project without building it. Right? What do I mean? So build is more like you're cooking a food, and running is more like you're eating it. So before you eat, it means there must have been a food somewhere that somebody has cooked, right? So before you run a project, you must have built something already. Do you understand? But most times, okay, let me try to run this project now. And you see, it gives me a pop-up and it says what? It seems this project has not been built yet. So it's more like you want to eat without cooking. What are you going to eat? Nothing. So now the program is suggesting that what? It seems this project has not been built yet. Do I want to build it now? So it means it seems you're hungry, yes, you want to eat, but there's no food yet. Do you want to cook now? Right. Let me just say cancel for now. So what you need to do first before you actually run your program is to what? First you need to build your program. Then after you build it and it has built successfully, then you can now come back here and run. But currently your program is still building, so you can't do anything. See, it has built finish and there was no error at all. Then you click on build and then you click on run. Now you can see that our program is going to run very well now. As you can see here, it brought out the results. So it has not loaded completely because it's meant to print hello world to the screen. Let me cancel it again, sorry. Let me build and then run. As you can see, it returned hello world to my screen. I don't know if you can see, if it's very clear. It returned hello world to my screen and then it terminated the code. Now all of these lines of code are going to be explained later on, but what you just need to know now is that we could not run the project without building a project, but then we first built the project and then we ran the project. But thanks to code blocks, they actually made a particular, since they knew that before you build a project, before you run a project, you need to build a project. Now there's a shortcut in code blocks that allows you to build and run automatically. You understand? So your project will just automatically build by itself, and really after building, it will run. So you don't need to always first do build and then do run, do build, do run. Just with the click of this button, build and run, the project is going to build and then run. And as you can see here again, we have hello world printed to our screen, which is the result of this particular code on the screen. We are not going to that anytime soon until next lecture. So yeah, as you can see, this build, see the gear icon, this has the play icon, and then this has the gear and the play icon. That's the exact same things that are here. So instead of opening this tab, you can always use this shortcut that is here: build, run, and then build and run. And this is about once you are building and probably you notice an error yourself and you don't want the computer to find out before you correct it. You can always abort your program and then so this is rebuild, and then the last one is abort. You can always abort your program so you can rebuild it. Right now, for debug, you can always debug your program too. Debugging is a process of finding errors in your program. So probably yes, your program it failed to run. It could not successfully run because there's a particular error in it. And always debug your code to see the exact line or the exact area of your code that is actually causing your program to malfunction. All right, and yeah, that's basically all you need to know. These other options are just something we need to talk about. All right. Now that is all for the environment of code blocks. If you're using code blocks on PC, now let's dive into the usage of code blocks on the web. All right. So okay, let me quickly grab this code here. As you can see, all of this code is here. Now to run code blocks on the web, just need to search for to run C program on the web, just need to search for C program compiler online, and that is it. Once you search for it, a site is going to come up. You can see this one, onecompiler.com/c. So you just need to open it up, onecompiler.com/c. And as you can see, it also has a template of what we just even copied. I've not pasted my code here, and it already has its own. So what you can always do is, for people that are using Mac, I'm very sorry I can't show you how to, install code blocks or Xcode on Mac so you can write your C program. But then I can offer this alternative for you to also follow us along with the course of the tutorial. And if you also have a phone with you, you can also go to onecompiler.com/c. Just whenever you're watching this lecture or you want to like write your own C program, just need to come here, write all your codes, and then you click on run, and the output is going to be, as you can see, it outputted hello world, just like our code blocks IDE actually behaved. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. All right. So now, if you're using a MacBook, please bear with us and just follow this process to stay out, to stay with us during the course of the tutorial. And if you're also using an Android phone with a Chrome browser or an iPhone with a Safari browser, or even a Chrome browser, you can also come to onecompiler.com/c, and then you can always write your code here and run it, and it's like that is good. Now, if you want it even more portable, like for Android and iPhone users, you can just go on Play Store and search for C compiler, and then download any third-party application that can allow you to write C program and run it on your mobile phone. Now that'll be all for this tutorial, guys. Now I've explained to you just who I am, the purpose of this tutorial, what you learn in this tutorial, and also shared the schedule for this tutorial for you guys. And I've also been able to run you through how to install the IDE, the Integrated Development Environment we're going to be using to write our C program, so you can learn structured programming. And I also showed you the alternative you can use if you are on a web browser and you cannot download code blocks, or you're on your mobile phone and you cannot access applications that can help you write in C. So all of this has been explained in this tutorial, and from the next tutorial we're going to start from the actual basics of C programming, and I'll see you guys in the next. Do well to subscribe, like the video, and share also to friends, and let's keep this tutorial growing. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you in the next lecture.